The Magnet of Thought by William Walker Atkinson. Thoughts are things, many things in fact, and one of the things that thought is a magnet. Yes, a magnet, an actual magnet, not merely a figure of speech. This is one of the phases of the phenomena of thought, thingness, that possesses the most weird and magical interest to the investigator when he becomes aware of the truth of the proposition for the first time. Our thoughts constitute the elements of a great thought magnet that operates in the direction of drawing to us the persons, things, ideas, knowledge, and environment in harmony with our composite mental states and conducive to the expression of our static thought into dynamic action. And the reverse of this is true, for the same peculiar property of the thought magnet operates in the direction of repelling and repulsing persons, things, ideas, knowledge, and environment of an opposite character and calculated to prevent the expression of our dominant thoughts. All this may seem strange and fanciful to one who has never investigated the subject, but it is proven not only by investigation and experiment, but also by analogy. All through nature there is a manifestation of this law of attraction and repulsion. The atom attracts another in rhythmic harmony with itself and repels and repulses one of opposing vibratory rhythm. Chemical affinity, molecular attraction, cohesion, physical laws, all of them, as well as the phenomena of magnetism and electricity, all attest the universality of this law. The mineral may be dissolved in a liquid containing many other minerals or chemicals, and yet, when the opportunity for crystallization arises, we see the orderly formation of its special crystal by gradual stages, the first granule attracting to itself the materials of its own kind, discarding and repelling atoms of different composition. The crystal acts almost as if it knew its own kind. The seed planted in the earth draws to itself from the earth, water, and light, precisely the kind of material it needs to build up its particular kind of plant. Take two tiny seeds, both practically alike so far as chemical analysis reveals, and plant them in the same earth, containing the same constituents. Plant them side by side, if you will, and from that same earth, and from the same water that falls upon them, and from the same sunlight that invigorates them, each plant draws to itself exactly what is in rhythmic harmony with its inner nature, and one develops into a deadly nightshade, and the other into a fragrant rose. The honey of the bee and the poison in its sting are both extracted from the same nectar it sips from the flower. The milk of the cow and the virus of the cobra are drawn from the same elementary substances. Why? There is no evidence of rational choice, as we use the term, in these things. There is but the operation of that universal principle, the law of attraction. Birds of a feather flock together, like attracts like, and in the case of living things, we find that mysterious process which we call nature provides that each thing shall draw to itself the other things that serve to nourish it and to enable it to grow and express the life that is within it. The desire for expression is a vital energy that causes the thing to struggle for existence and to draw to itself that which is conducive to its survival. Not only do minerals, plants, animals, and men act in accordance with this law, but passing on to the mental plane we find that ideas, desires, and mental states struggle for survival and expression. There is always a conflict of desires, feelings, motives, and ideals going on within our mentality, and the strongest wins out. We may throw the weight of our will into the struggle and decide the day, it is true, but the principle remains. And each idea, desire, and feeling exerts its attractive power in the direction of drawing to itself other things of its own kind to serve to strengthen and develop itself, and to allow it to express itself more fully. All this refers to the inner workings of thought attraction. There is an outer phase. Have you never noticed that when a man is filled with a strong, burning desire to express a certain line of mental activity and sets to work to make his thoughts take form in action, there seems to be set into operation a train of circumstances that tend to draw to him the persons, things, and environments conducive to that particular line of expression, or else to draw the man himself away from his old environment, occupation, and surroundings into the presence of those better adapted to the expression of his thought? A little consideration will show you, either from your own experience or that of others, how common is this occurrence. We hear much of people finding by chance the very things needed to complete their invention, story, theory, etc. We hear of others finding by accident the very book containing the information that they needed, or the person who could and would put them on the path of that which they sought. But there is no chance or accident about these things. They are a part of the working of the law of cause and effect in its phase of thought attraction. Life is full of these occurrences, but we pass them by heedlessly and carelessly until we become acquainted with the law. Thoughts are things, just as much as are the chemicals, minerals, crystals, plants, seeds, and living things that we have mentioned above. And all things have this inclination toward expression, development, and growth, and the corresponding power to draw to themselves as nourishment the thing conducive to that expression and growth. And so thoughts manifest this universal law of life, and under the same general laws that govern all other things. An individual holding a strong ideal, desire, feeling, or emotion sets into operation this natural principle which tends to form an attractive center, similar to the center of the crystal, which then attracts to itself the things, surroundings, environment, and persons in harmony with its nature and conducive to its expression. As we have said, it may do this either by actually attracting these to itself, or else causing its owner to move toward them. This attractive power operates gradually and more or less slowly at first, but like the rolling snowball or the growing crystal, its rate of growth increases with its size. We have known many cases of men and women who have attained in after years the ideals of their earlier days. In many cases, they were apparently led away from the channels of expression for a number of years, but then, later, there would come to them a peculiar branching off or divergence in a certain direction, and lo, sometimes before they realized it, they found themselves materializing and expressing their old ideals. Every strong desire, ideal, or feeling is a seed action that will strive ever to express itself and draw to itself that which will tend to nourish it and enable it to manifest into action and objective shape and form. Of course, many of these seeds never grow. They are crowded out by other and stronger seeds, or else are killed out by the will. And in the same way, the mental states that are watered by attention and surrounded by the rich soil of encouragement tend to develop more strength and vigor and to outstrip their weaker companions. This mental gardening is a worthy task for the individual, and one that will bring to him a full measure of results. Not only are we largely what we have thought ourselves into being, but we have around us largely those things that we have attracted to us by our thoughts. This may be objected to by some who say that they have reaped the things they feared rather than the things they desired. The thing I feared has come upon me. But what of that? Is not a fear a mental state as much as is desire? Fear is the negative pole of the mental state, of which the positive pole is desire. In both cases, a strong mental picture is held, and the thought processes are set into operation to materialize it into objectivity. The man who continually holds the mental picture of poverty in his mind surely attracts those conditions to him. The man who holds the idea of prosperity before him attracts his own to himself. And right here, at this very place, we wish to give you the antidote and remedy for fear. It is this: if you dislike a thing, and therefore find yourself evincing a fear that it may materialize in your life, stop right there and take mental stock of yourself. Then begin by steadily refusing to allow your mind to dwell upon the fear, but in its place, build up the desire for, and the thought picture of, the very opposite thing, the thing or condition which, if realized, will save you from the thing you are beginning to fear. Then concentrate all your efforts upon the mental growth of this idea, desire, feeling, and hope for the thing you want. Try to forget the thing you have feared, driving it out of your mind by will and determination. You will find that by cultivating and dwelling upon the positives, you will neutralize and kill out the negatives. If you will but realize the value of this little bit of advice that we have just given you and will begin to act upon it, you will ever look back upon this moment of the first reading of it with feelings of joy and thankfulness. For it is the antidote for fear, and fear is the deadly nightshade of the mind. Each of us is a great thought magnet, ever drawing to us things, persons, and environment, circumstances even, in harmony with our composite thoughts and tending to enable those thoughts to express themselves. And at the same time, we are ever repelling, driving away, and repulsing the things of the opposite character. This being so, does it not become of the greatest importance for us to cultivate the right sort of thought magnet that we may draw to ourselves that which we would desire? Does it not become our duty to drive out from our thought realm the thoughts that tend to attract to us the people and conditions calculated to pull us down in the quicksands of life? Does it not become our duty to ourselves to drag up by the roots that deadly nightshade of the mind, fear, and with it its companion plants of hate, anger, and jealousy, all of which tend to bring about undesirable conditions for us, and all of which are negatives and not positives? We are all thought magnets whether we wish to be or not. And this being so, is it not the height of folly to refuse to take advantage of the understanding of this law, and to cultivate the positive qualities of thought that will serve to draw to us the things that will aid us and bring us greater happiness, health, and success? If asked to choose between the results of the positive qualities and those of the negative qualities, no sane man or woman would hesitate a moment. And yet many shiver on the brink of the great lake of life, unable to decide whether it is worth it to choose between the boat of positivity, which will take them safely across to the shore of attainment by the use of the oars of the will and the reason, on the one hand, or the rotten, heavy, flat-bottomed scow of negativity, which has no oars but just drifts along until it becomes waterlogged and sinks, on the other hand. It is a matter for your own choice. We have pointed out the way and stated the rules. You must do the rest. In the pattern of the day, it is now up to you. To those who object that this matter of the magnetic power of thought savors too much of magic or miracles, we would say that a careful consideration of the principles of thought waves and thought currents, radiating on all sides, in all directions, from every individual, reaching those for whom they are intended, and with whom they are in harmony, will be seen to cover all the points and meet all the requirements of the case. It is all a matter of natural scientific principles and law. There is nothing miraculous or magical about it. It is but another application of the principle of, as you sow, so shall you reap. You sow seed thoughts, and you reap materialized conditions. You sow thought, and you reap action. Each seed grows trees, blossoms, and fruit according to its kind. You are a thought magnet. What are you drawing to yourself? Is it not time to stop attracting negative conditions? Do you want positives? Then think, feel, desire, and act accordingly. End of chapter. This was chapter 4 from the book Thoughts Are Things. A link to the full book is in the description below. Subscribe for more content that discusses the power of your mind.